Hello, I'm Miss Eiley from the Yonkers Library in New York, but for now I'm at home with all of my favorite books, and I'd love to read them with you. Let's sing our welcome song. Ready? Welcome, welcome everyone. Now you're here, let's have some fun. Stories old and stories new. Fun for me and fun for you. Welcome, welcome everyone. Now you're here, let's have some fun. Today, we are reading about trees and tools. And our first story is called Stanley's Toolbox by William B. Here is Stanley with his toolbox. He is helping Little Woo repair his treehouse. But first, they need a new ladder. Stanley uses the drill to make holes. Little Woo bashes in the rungs with the mallet. Stanley climbs up the new ladder. He uses the saw to cut down a big branch, squashing the roof. Next, Little Woo passes Stanley the nails. Stanley bangs the hammer to fasten the roof tiles back in place. Inside the treehouse, the floor is very rough. Stanley uses the sander to smooth it down. So much dust! Stanley twists the screwdriver to put screws in the wall. Little Woo hangs his pictures. Much better. Outside, Little Woo squiggles some glue from the glue gun. Stanley gets ready to name Little Woo's treehouse. There's just one thing left to do. Stanley uses his wrench to tighten a nut and bolt. Stanley has a surprise. What could it be? Stanley has used his tools to make a swing. Thank you, Stanley. And that is the end. So Stanley had a lot of tools, like a hammer. And if I had a hammer, I would sing this song. Ready? If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out a warning. I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Our next story is about a boy named Floyd who has some trouble with a tree, and it is called Stuck by Oliver Jeffers. It all began when Floyd's kite became stuck in a tree. He tried pulling and swinging, but it wouldn't come unstuck. The trouble really began when he threw his favorite shoe to knock the kite loose. And that got stuck too. There's a kite and a shoe. So he threw up his other shoe to knock down his favorite one. And unbelievably, that got stuck as well. In order to knock down the other shoe, Floyd fetched Mitch. Cats get stuck in trees all the time, but this was getting ridiculous. Floyd fetched a ladder. He was going to sort this out once and for all. And up he threw it. I'm sure you can guess what happened. The ladder was borrowed from a neighbor who would definitely need to be put back before anyone noticed. And in order to do so, Floyd flung a bucket of paint at it. And wouldn't you know it, the bucket of paint got stuck. Then Floyd tried a duck to knock down the bucket of paint, a chair to knock down the duck, a friend's bicycle to knock down the chair, the kitchen sink to knock down his friend's bicycle, Floyd's front door to knock down the kitchen sink, the family car to knock down the front door, the milkman to knock down the family car, an orangutan to knock down the milkman, who surely had somewhere else to be, a small boat to knock down the orangutan, a big boat to knock down the small boat, a rhinoceros to knock down the big boat, a long-distance truck to knock down the rhinoceros, the house across the street to knock down the long-distance truck, a lighthouse to knock down the house no longer across the street, a curious whale in the wrong place at the wrong time to knock down the lighthouse. And they all got stuck. A fire engine was passing and heard all the commotion. The firemen stopped to see if they could help at all. And up they went. First the fire engine, then the firemen, one by one. And there they stayed, stuck between the orangutan and one of the boats. Firemen would definitely be noticed missing, and Floyd knew he'd be in big trouble. Then he had an idea. And he went to find a saw. He lined it up as best he could and hurled it into the tree. And that was it. There was no more room left in the tree, and the kite became unstuck. Floyd was delighted. He had forgotten all about his kite, and he put it to use immediately, enjoying the rest of his day very much. That night, Floyd fell asleep exhausted, though before he did, he could have sworn there was something He was forgetting. Do you know what Floyd forgot? Everybody in the tree is still stuck. And the fireman says, "Hang on a minute, lads. I've got a great idea." Well, I hope he does, because they're still stuck. And that is the end. And now it's time for us to say goodbye. Can we sing our goodbye song? Ready? Goodbye, goodbye, everyone. Story time was so much fun. We are done, but don't be blue. Next time we'll read something new. Goodbye, goodbye, everyone. Next time we'll have lots more fun. Goodbye.